Quadruple Aim, a movement that challenges the status quo in healthcare and promotes patient experience, quality care, lower costs, and provider wellness. He has over 20 years of experience in providing quality patient care, leading teams and managing projects in various settings, including the United States and Navy, where he was honored with Naval Flight Surgeon of the Year in 2006 for the Atlantic Fleet. He's also co-author of Ripples of Change, a book that shares his unfiltered journey through burnout, the existence of dysfunction in healthcare, offers a bare-bones approach to evaluate, reimagine, and inspire positive disruption in the industry and beyond. Our other speaker is Joshua Judy. He's provided leadership across a multitude of industries for over 20 years, currently serves as manager supplier of quality at Consumers Energy. Previously held roles in several Fortune 500 firms, including Honeywell Aerospace, Dell Technologies, Jackson National Life Insurance, and General Motors. He received his master's degree in finance from the University of Michigan and a bachelor's degree in engineering from Michigan State University. He's also the co-author of the book Ripples of Change, where he represents the voice of the patient. He's the co-founder of the Our Quadruple Aim movement. Please join me in welcoming them this morning.
Thank you for that introduction. Again, Joshua Judy, pleased to be with all of you today. Everybody's had a great start to the day. I'm here with my fellow co-author and friend.
My name is Dr. Otten, in some circles known as Dr. Rotten. I used to tell that to patients and it always kind of eased the tension, so I've stuck with it. Disclaimers. I want to keep everyone engaged, we want to laugh, we want to have fun. So if I see the deer in the headlight look, I might walk up to you and ask you a question. Just kidding. But I think the reality is we're all human beings here. And we're talking about risk today. And we have to understand that part of healthcare, there are going to be failures. And we have to understand that. We're trying to mitigate those things. So in that vein, we're going to give a quick failure bow to start us off. Conflict of interest, no financial conflicts of interest, but I think it's important that when we think about risk and evidence, there's evidence-based medicine, but there's also anecdotal evidence. And I would make the case in the last 30 to 40 years, healthcare in the United States, we might have a few issues. We're spending a lot of money, and we've magically gotten our life expectancy to go in the wrong direction. And so we need to consider anecdotal evidence at times when we're thinking about how we make decisions. Learning objectives. I was so excited last night listening to the panel speak. Enterprise risk management. It was like music to my ears. As I prepared for this, I looked at the domains of risk, I looked at risk scoring, and I was like, this is how we should be thinking about this. And so I was super excited. Oh, before I forget, because we did not memorize this, there are references you can see on the bottom, but I think the reality here is you all have or will have a copy of our book. There are 200 or 300 references in the book with tons of evidence for pretty much everything we're talking about. So please utilize that resource as well. I heard the word silo come up last night multiple times in the conversation. And I loved the mission statement on the website. To lead and represent healthcare risk professionals and support them with resources and knowledge to manage enterprise risk across the healthcare continuum. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant, which is why I put it here. So I'm going to tell a story, and if I walk around, it's because I can't help myself, so you just have to live with that, I suppose. I'm going to tell you a story about my office from about 3 or 4 years ago. In the book, I dubbed it the Office Utopia because it was amazing. We had myself, 3 nurse practitioners, and you'd think maybe for 4 clinicians you might have 10 to 12 exam rooms. We had 6. I could see some risk associated bad. I could see some bottlenecks there. But the office was incredible. We were busting at the seams with patients. People wanted to be there. I wanted to be there. Joshua wanted to be there. Well, okay, most of the time he wanted to be there. And so the system decided they wanted to emulate this office far and wide. So we talked about it. We had a great conversation. What was going well? Maybe not so much. And I actually have a whole bunch of evidence to back it up. How many new patients we had seen, how many this, how many that, how much RVUs were we generating, what was the revenue going to be, how many referrals, all this data to back it up. But me being me, that wasn't good enough. I'm a big fan of calculating risk. And so I wanted to talk about wellness. I wanted to talk about recruitment. I wanted to talk about retention. I wanted to advocate for myself, my colleagues, my patients, because we were in the midst of a culture that was, I would say, less than ideal, and that's probably putting it mildly. So I started talking about these things, and there were 3 high-level executives sitting in front of me. Names have been changed in the book. I didn't want to get sued immediately. Tried to mitigate my risk a little bit. But I was standing there, we're talking about doing the right things for our colleagues. And it was deer in the headlights across the seas. I anticipated this a little bit, and I brought some value-based reimbursement forms with me because I was an ACO medical director for 6 years. I knew HCC coding, I knew RAF scores, I knew why they were important for reimbursement, what have you, etc. When I had completely lost the attention of those 3 executives, I held those forms up and said, "Do you know what these are?" They kind of did, sort of, and so then I explained it. And I said, "Do you know what I do with them if I've had a bad day?" Anybody want to guess? I see a smile. Do you want to guess? What's that? Or the shredder. I thought the president of the medical group was going to jump out of his chair at that point. And this was after I explained that I didn't necessarily need to continue working from a financial perspective. He proceeded to then threaten me with my paycheck, and I looked at him in the eye and said, "I don't care." And it was at that moment that silos were developed, more so than ever around our office, and really probably further into the institution. And it was unfortunate because there was so much opportunity to be had there, but risk was chosen instead. I think that story is important as we get started because this is my learning objective as we talk about improving things in healthcare. I think ERM is brilliant, absolutely brilliant, and I'm hoping to we are hoping to offer some ideas how you can help facilitate that within your institution. And by the way, I don't know if you saw the mason jars at the front up there. Just like a bio break, if at any time you feel like you really need to leave a tip for the 2 of us, you can just walk back there, and the jars are right. I'm joking.
Okay, so you're going to get a chance to get up and move around a little bit now. So, I'd like you to choose a pebble, find someone you don't know or maybe you haven't interacted with very much, and introduce yourself. So a quick meet and greet, and just the challenge as you're doing that, I ask that you think about what you want to get out of today's conversation. We're going to cover a lot of ground, and then I would also ask, think about what you want to leave with and go out and make a positive change when you walk out of here today. So we're going to do that for a few minutes.
And we were going to have everybody kind of going everywhere, but then I realized it was all rows, and I'm like, that seems like a bad idea. So keep it within 5 feet or something. So a little bit of introduction to this. Here's some rules for engagement. You might have seen that there are poker chips on your table. I'm making a guess that you've never been to a keynote where there's poker chips, rocks, and mason jars all being utilized. And if you have, I would love to hear about it. But there should be some blue poker chips around the tables. And when we talk about rules for engagement, we want this to be seen as a psychologically safe space where people can share their thoughts, their emotions, their ideas without fear of retribution or reprisal. So we're going to pretend Joshua has poker chip number 1.
Yes, and it says, please silence or turn down your cell phones out of respect. You need to take a vote, obviously you can step out. But
now who has poker chip number 2 in front of them? Michelle, would you be so kind to read that, nice and loud?
Make connections.
Very good. Who has 3? Would you read it, please?
Keep presence.
Very good. Can everybody hear our colleagues? All right, I'm hoping we're getting the theme here that we're going to go 3 and then 4 and then. All right, who's got 4?
Think and wonder.
Beautiful. Keep on rolling. Who's got 5?
Be self-aware.
Beautiful.
love it.
I was hoping 6 was just going to jump in there. That's okay. That's okay. You know what? We'll take a failure bow. There we go. You know, I didn't even realize that was number 6. That's perfect. All right, who's got number 7?
Be intentional.
8.
Stay curious.
Love it. 9.
Ask open-ended questions.
Great one.
10.
Explore.
Beautiful. 11.
Listen. Every voice counts.
And as I said, create a psychologically safe space.
Okay, so we're going to ask some questions, and I would anticipate a ton of hands go up as we're asking these. I'd be very surprised if they didn't. So, raise your hand if, this very week, you heard someone express indifference about our healthcare system. They basically said, it's just the way it is, there's nothing I can do about it. All across the room. Both hands up if you'd like. The next one. Raise your hand if a loved one has been denied health care services or care because of financial constraints. Many hands again across the room, yes, myself included.
Or if you or a colleague has experienced effects from inadequate mental health support